The sunlight sliced through the blinds like a guilty secret, hitting my eyelids before I could pretend to sleep any longer. There he was. Ethan. Not 2 feet away. His chest rising and falling in that steady rhythm that always made my pulse stutter. My brother's best friend. The guy who'd crashed in my room after one too many beers at our backyard barbecue. The kind of night where laughter echoed off the chain-link fence and fireflies danced like they knew something we didn't. But this morning? It wasn't just the hangover haze or the faint scent of last night's charcoal smoke clinging to his skin. It was the way his arm had draped over my waist in the dark, heavy and warm, like it belonged there. And God help me, I hadn't pulled away. I shifted, the mattress creaking under me like a confession I wasn't ready to make. 22 years old, fresh out of community college with a laptop full of half-finished logos and a heart full of sketches I'd never show anyone. Alex, my brother, was downstairs probably nursing his coffee, oblivious as ever. 24. All easy grins and construction site muscles. The golden boy who dragged Ethan into our lives back in high school. Ethan. The firefighter. The one who ran into burning buildings like they were just another Tuesday. His hazel eyes sharp enough to cut through smoke. We joked about it once. Alex and me. How Ethan was the hero type. But lying here, with his breath ghosting my neck, warm and whiskey sweet from the night before, it didn't feel like a joke anymore. A soft sigh escaped him, low and rumbling, vibrating through the space between us. My skin prickled, every nerve ending alive in a way that scared the hell out of me. I could smell him now. Really smell him, salt and soap, mixed with the earthy tang of the oak tree outside my window, its leaves rustling like whispers in the breeze. Why hadn't I kicked him to the couch? Why had I let the beer loosen my tongue just enough to say, "Crash here? Mun. Bed's big enough?" The bed was a queen. Sure. But it felt like a raft in a storm with him in it. The clatter of mugs. Alex. Yo. Jamie. You up? Eggs are burning. His voice boomed up the stairs. All brotherly bark. No bait. I froze. Heart slamming against my ribs like it wanted out. Ethan stirred. His fingers flexing against my hip. Innocent in sleep but electric awake. Our eyes met when he blinked open. Those hazel depths cloudy with confusion that cleared into something softer. Recognition. A half-smile tugged at his lips, the kind that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "Morning," he murmured, voice gravelly from sleep, like tires on wet pavement after a rain. Yeah. Morning. My words came out too quick, too breath. I sat up, sheets pooling around my waist, the cool air hitting my bare chest like a slap. He didn't move, just watched me, propping on one elbow. The room felt smaller. The posters on my walls, faded band tees from shows I'd gone to alone, suddenly childish under his gaze. Sleep okay? He chuckled, low and easy, rubbing a hand over his stubbled jaw. The sound wrapped around me, warm as the sunlight spilling across his bare shoulders, tanned from too many shifts under the summer sun. Better than the truck. Your bed's softer than it looks. The pause. His eyes flicking down, then back up. Lingering. You. I swallowed, throat dry as the Sahara. Fine. Yeah, but I'd barely slept, replaying every accidental brush of skin, every time his leg had tangled with mine in the dark. It wasn't the first time I'd noticed him. High school graduation, that backyard cookout where he'd stripped off his shirt to hose down the kids, water gleaming on his skin like it was made for it. I'd blamed the heat then. Blamed the awkward phase of figuring out why girls at parties made me fidgety, but guys, specifically, made my stomach flip like a bad dive. Alex hollered again. Closer now. Footsteps on the stairs. Jamie. Get your ass down here before I eat it all. Panic spiked, sharp as the creak of the floorboard under his boot. Ethan sat up too, sheets slipping low on his hips, revealing the V of muscle that disappeared into shadow. My mouth went dry. He caught me looking, damn it, and his smile deepened. Not mocking, but knowing. Like he'd seen it before. In locker room glances or the way I'd linger when he and Alex shot hoops in the driveway. Coming, I yelled back, voice cracking like a teenager's. Ethan swung his legs over the edge, grabbing his jeans from the floor. The zipper rasped, loud in the quiet room, and I busied myself with a t-shirt, pulling it over my head to hide the flush creeping up my neck. We dressed in silence, the kind heavy with unsaid things, broken only by the distant sizzle of bacon downstairs. By the time we hit the kitchen, Alex had plates steaming on the formica table, our mom's old relic from the 70s, scarred from years of family fights and forgiveness. He clapped Ethan on the back, hard enough to rattle the salt shaker. Rough night? Bro, you look like you wrestled a bear. Alex laughed, that booming sound filling the room like it always did, oblivious to the undercurrent pulling at me. Ethan slid into a chair, stealing a strip of bacon with a grin. Your brother's bed's comfier than yours. That's all. He shot me a wink over the rim of his mug, steam curling up like smoke signals. My face burned. Alex just snorted, digging into his eggs. Lucky bastard. Next time, I'm claiming it. The morning blurred after that. Coffee black and bitter on my tongue, the scrape of forks on plates, Alex rambling about his next job site in the sprawl of Phoenix suburbs. Ethan nodded along, but his knee brushed mine under the table. Twice. Not accident. Each touch sent sparks up my thigh, hot and insistent. I stared at my plate, yolk pooling like unspoken words, the fan overhead whirring lazy circles in the humid air. After breakfast, Alex dragged Ethan out to the garage for some half-assed car tinkering, tools clanging like punctuation to their easy banter. I stayed behind, washing dishes with water too hot, steam fogging the window over the sink. Laughter peeled out Alex's deep guffaw, Ethan's lighter one, the kind that made my chest ache. What was this? Crush? What? I'd buried it deep, under graphic design apps and late-night scrolls through feeds that made me question everything. Coming out to Alex? In this house? With Dad's old fishing trophies on the mantle and Mom's Bible verses framed on the fridge? It had been a pipe dream, whispered to my reflection in the bathroom mirror after too many lonely showers. But Ethan, he'd always been different. The way he'd linger after Alex crashed out during movie nights, asking about my sketches with genuine interest, his hand brushing mine when he passed the popcorn. Last summer, at the lake, when he'd pulled me under for a dare, our bodies slick in clothes in the murky water, bubbles rising like held breaths. I'd laughed it off. He had too. Or had he? The screen door banged open behind me. Hey, Ethan's voice, soft now, without Alex's shadow. Earned. Sponge dripping in my hand, suds sliding down my wrist like tears I wouldn't shed. He leaned against the counter, arms crossed over that faded FDNY tee, the one that hugged his chest just right. Up close, freckles dusted his nose from sun exposure, and his hair stuck up in sleep musk spikes. You okay? I set the sponge down, water pattering into the sink. Yeah. Why? He stepped closer, the space between us shrinking to inches. The kitchen smelled of grease and dawn dew from the open window. His hand found my arm, thumb tracing a slow circle on my skin. Last night, this morning, felt different. His voice dropped, eyes searching mine. Escaped me. The world narrowed to that touch. The faint callus on his thumb from gripping hoses, the way his Adam's apple bobbed when he swallowed. Ethan, Sure. He closed the gap. Forehead to mine. Breaths mingling hot and fast. I've wanted this. For longer than I should admit. Alex's little brother. The quiet one with the killer drawings. But it's you, Timmy. Always has been. My heart thundered. A drumbeat in my ears. Said. Alex's hammer echoed from the garage. Oblivious. I could pull away. But keep it buried. But his lips brushed mine. Tentative. Tasting of coffee and salt, and something inside me cracked open. I kissed back, hands fisting his shirt, the fabric warm under my fingers. It was messy, urgent, all teeth and tongue, the counter digging into my back as he pressed closer. A groan rumbled from him, low and needy, vibrating through me like thunder. We broke apart gasping, foreheads still touching, the world spinning back into focus. What now? I whispered, voice wrecked, fingers trembling against his chest. He smiled. That crinkle-eyed one, but softer, vulnerable. We tell him. Together. No more hiding. His hand cupped my jaw, thumb stroking my cheekbone, grounding me in the scent of him, the solid weight of his presence. Alex burst in then, grease-smeared and grinning. What are you two, hey? His eyes narrowed, flicking between us, the flush on my face, Ethan's arms still around my waist. The hammer slipped from his hand, clanging to the linoleum. Silence stretched, thick as the Arizona heat. Ethan, Alex's voice cracked, confusion warring with hurt. Jamie, Ethan straightened, but didn't let go. Buddy. We didn't plan this. But it's real. He braced, waiting for the explosion. The shout. The door slam. Instead, Alex sagged against the fridge, running a hand through his hair. A sigh, long and ragged, filled the room. Shit. How long? Long enough, I said, stepping forward, Ethan's hand warm on my back. I'm sorry if... He held up a hand, eyes shiny. Don't. You're my brother. He's family too. The beat. Then a watery laugh. Just. Don't make me walk in on you two again. Deal. Relief crashed over me, sweet as the first rain after drought. Ethan pulled me close, kissing my temple, while Alex shook his head, grabbing a beer from the fridge despite the hour. To awkward mornings, he toasted, clinking the bottle against Ethan's mug. To left, the sound breaking the tension like sunlight through clouds. It wasn't perfect. Coming out in our little corner of the world meant whispers at barbecues, raised eyebrows from old neighbors. But as Ethan squeezed my hand under the table later, his calloused fingers lacing with mine, I felt it. That unnamed difference. Not just a morning. A beginning. Brought. And hours. In the days that followed, sketches filled my pad, not logos, but us. Two figures tangled in sheets, dawn light painting them gold. Ethan framed one on his locker at the station, a quiet claim. Alex grumbled but showed up to our first real date, third wheel with a smirk, shotgun in his beat-up Ford. Family. Redefined. Message. Loving in the American way, grit and grace, under endless blue skies. And every morning after, when his arm draped over me again, deliberate now. I named it. Simple. Fierce.